But what I would like to talk about, first of all, is a little bit confusion. I'm currently at the University of Pickens at Austin. I mean, 4 days I'm moving to Temple University as well. And as a Longhorn, I had a joke with my Temple folks. Temple mascot is an owl, a bird. And I said Longhorn would snow. And they said they shot back. They said owl would smile. In any case, well, anyway. So I'll be at Centennial University for 4 days. Well, what I would like to talk about is something more specific, dealing with, I should say Japanese, but Japanese type corporation. And particularly my focus will be on the issue of learning. Since you have a partner, you can learn from them well, and they will learn from you. And in the process, which party is likely to learn more from the other. And then the chances that they will part. And after they have parted, then what's left over? So which is more likely to do it, and so forth. So that's the topic. And when I say joint ventures, it's a casual expression. It can be anything. It can be a legal entity called joint venture. It can be a strategic alliance in broad sense. Anyway, so that's the topic. Now, it's a cliche to talk about all these costs and benefits. So it's a cliche, but I will emphasize to the moment of which speaker speaks on this. You will always talk about benefits and costs. Particularly dealing with Japanese, I suppose. The benefits, benefits that you see immediately are obviously they're good at making, they're good at delivering, and so it amounts to a faster production, which is great. Reliable product quality, it has so to do with the manufacturing. Dr. Anwar talked about the Apple Witter, or Apple company. Apple Notebook computer was made by Sony. And then I was consulted by Apple Computer to see if it would make strategic sense for Apple Computer. And I said, no, we will lose out everything. So, becoming concerned, Apple decided to set up a relationship with Sony. So they started making their own notebook computers in-house, only to realize they couldn't make it as reliably as Sony had done. So they came back to me and asked me, which company should we have another partner? Naturally, they were trying to go back to Sony. So they were fishing around, and I didn't say anything. They found Toshiba as the second manufacturer of notebooks, Apple notebook computer. So that's the type of thing. Anyway, it's a reliable product under the Japanese, so why don't we rely on it? And of course, given the Japanese distribution network around the world, definitely we have broader distribution coverage on the past. The cost side is one. Robert Reich, ex-labor secretary under Clinton first time, he wrote an interesting article in 1980, Harvard Review, and his title was something like "Joint Venturing with the Japanese is a sure way to use everything." And of course, there was no theory about it, but what he tried to say was exactly what I was talking about. And I developed my own theory, and I'll show you something very fundamental. Something very fundamental. So you are bound to do something faster than meeting. And two, eventually in the process you become dependent. You think about the Hewlett Packard success in laser jet. Who's making the most money out of it? HP owns the market. If you think about laser jets, think of HP. That's what we can. But who really makes a lot of money? More than 90%. So the most important part in that printer is the printer, which is called Pickens. And that is made by Canon. Canon supplies more than 90% of literally produces more than 90% of worldwide supply of printers. So who's making this money? Without advertising, all I have to do is basic. Let's see what Packard package is insurance for. So it is easy now. So that will be an issue. You know, Hewlett Packard looks nice on paper. On paper. And eventually, look at it this way. Canon controls the most important ingredient of it. And HP has a brand recognition, and HP is fully aware they depend up to 90% on Canon. And Canon has a great brand, mostly for Canon. But they have enough to go into the pickup to create their own brand. And it's just a matter of time. Well, luckily Japan is in recession, so they may not be willing to go out with tons of money invested. But once the economy turns around, who will eventually dominate So there is a risk of creating So let's look at some of the fundamentals. So something I would like you to think about. There are basically two ways to handle this issue. American business education is based upon what I call efficiency skill. Given the output, how should I minimize the cost? And if you read any textbook, or if you go to any lecture, the fundamental assumption is how should I minimize the cost in the job? It's a philosophical. And go to Germany or Japan, they have a fundamentally different mindset. Now, good or bad, different mindset. They say, if the objective is set, how should I meet this objective? With a benign ignoring or neglecting the cost side of the equation. So out of that came the famous zero defect group. If you're an engineer, you know, core perfection, whatever that means. You are an incremental improvement and constantly adding one additional percentage improvement goes higher and higher. You have to know that. So sometimes having a perfect product, having a perfect delivery, in a retail sense, no stock out. The company goes to the store and finds everything that you want to buy. And that's no stock out. And that's it. That is it. But in general, it's well, some folks, particularly Japanese and Germans, tend to focus more on get the job done. 90 which I call effective. And then I will talk about how they relate to alliances. I'm just giving you foundation. And looking at good thing about the Japanese and Germans is they never have businesses. They all know business schools. Now today, the oldest one in Germany where I taught is called Battelle or Poland School of Corporate Management in Poland. It's about 15 years old. Not that 15 or 19 years old, so you know, anything is being. Likewise, go to Japan, the oldest one, the Taylor Business School. So 17, 18 years old. And how many students are there? Go to Poland. They have about 100 students over 2 years. They might have been 6. And go to Japan, Taylor has 85 students over 2 years. And the speaking of MBA is they do well. So ask yourself how many business schools are there. In Japan, I believe there are 3 or 4. In Germany, maybe literally trying 100 students per school. But we're not talking about really education. And we talk about business education. Come to use the option, we have 1,000 students. The problem use the option alone holds more MBA students than all Japanese business schools and German schools. So they really don't emphasize cost efficiency. They never lunch. They never talk about cost of capital. Discount capital. They might have heard of it. Well, I'm sure they know the mechanics of it. The principle is important. So they ignore the form type. Now, which should be confident that particular Japanese? I'm not saying which school of thought is genuine better, but under certain circumstances, well, I can tell you, if you are an investor, go for American company. If your customer buys that, this cost us low like the Japanese corporation. They have high cost structure. Don't ever believe the Japanese are low cost, whatever. Low cost producer, but high cost market. Look at the market cost, it's amazing. They outspend us by maybe 3 to 1. Customer satisfaction. Really nothing. Buy Japanese, German products, but if you won't invest your money to go from that. So again, depending on how you will see it. Now let's turn our attention to more of the Japanese issue. I'm going to talk about the details on this. Basically, what's good about the Japanese and to some extent German way of doing business, they are good at managing legacy. American companies are generally good at managing each individual company independently, but collectively, not quite. And regardless, the Japanese and Germans may not be good at managing R&D, manufacturing, or marketing individually, but collectively, they get charged out. So anyway, let me do that. So let me ask, well, I started asking very, very fundamental questions. Living in Austin, naturally I've been faced dealing with those types of companies, also dealing with all these companies. And I used to work for NEC, Japanese computer maker. So both I sales with those Japanese companies. There are two ways to ask questions about this corporate competitors. One is the first one that I don't have to explain it. Where can you add what's the purpose of competitive focus for your company? Let's focus strictly on really manufacturing companies, and there are only been 8 companies who do. So let's focus strictly on R&D manufacturing marketing. I'm not saying the areas that I've been providing are not important, but they are human resources is important, finance is important. But let's not look at those. Let's look at just 2 companies. And then the broad executive is the classroom very likely. And ask them, if you're 3M, where do you think, well, look at your company, as opposed to look at 3 aspects of what company does. Where do you think this value, totally competitive value? And that's how one can ask the question. And regardless, where can you reduce cost? Reduce cost to teach here academic jargon, immutability. How can you make your business very difficult for competitors? And immutability is crucial. So where can the firm reduce cost? Make that particular aspect of the business very difficult for competitors. So you can actually you can look at the same issue from benefit side, or value side, or cost side. Then, before I show you my conclusion, I would like you to see some examples. Nothing to do with strategic alignment. Diagonal ones this way, they are successful. And this diagonal shows unsuccessful. Now, simply imagine, well, again, simple world. There are innovators and leaders. And there are market successes and market failures. Just like this. And if you start finding examples and place those examples in this forward block, and lo and behold, you will come across more examples along this path. In other words, imitators are more likely to succeed on the market, and innovators are more likely to fail on the market. Now, I'll give you one good example. RC Cola, Royal Crown Cola. Do we have anything? Cola was not invented by Royal Brand Cola, it was by Coca-Cola. But nonetheless, after that, which company has been historically the most innovative into this new stuff? Diet Cola was invented by our people. Don't say diet to make diet take sugar out and put aspartame in. Doesn't work. Doesn't need a different cola. There's obviously different procedure. It was our Cola. What about caffeine free? Don't ever say again, take out caffeine and you have caffeine. It doesn't taste like caffeine cola. It tastes like sugar. Obviously, it's a different thing. It was invented or innovated by our people. What about colorless cola? These are the bombers, like nonetheless. Was originally invented by our people. Amazingly, we don't know it. We tend to associate all of these new products with Coca-Cola. But if you look at the theology, most our people have been most innovative. EMI, CT10, F10, was invented by a couple of scientists working for EMI Britain. They got Nobel Prize. It's not just simple innovation. And this company, this division of the company, went bust. It's 6 months. Only to be taken over by GE, Hitachi, and Siemens. And ask yourself, why those innovative products fail? And whereas imitators, IBM never had a PC itself. Before IBM, there were PCs around, and IBM decided to bring in what is known as Microsoft and Intel, all under the company, to catch up for those PCs, IBM compatible PCs. Then IBM took off with it, and actually, most of Microsoft and Intel, they basically piggybacked on IBM, but we never innovated. IBM has never been innovative. The massive package and massive assembler, massive product called computer. Well, anyway, so again, it's amazing. Once you start feeling like that, imitators are more likely to succeed. Innovators are more likely to fail. And watch this step. So let's gradually move to fundamental understanding. Once you have those high-tech candidates selected, where the sources is your competitive advantage. And I asked them to allocate 100 points. I did it many times, and then the findings were consistent. People say in general, again, I have to remind you, this is a bunch of people from high-tech. They say about 25-28% coming from instructors. And about 30% from student making articles. And about half of this marketing, branding, trying to satisfy customers and all that. So that's how they see what their companies are doing in terms of doing for competitive advantage. And then I even have the same batch, similar batches people from similar companies. It's a very spiritual mindset. Just think about where do you think you should cut costs to make that part of the business innovative, then collective understanding that I observed from the same executive is R&D is about artificial intelligence, manufacturing is 55%. What it means is, if you are to reduce costs to gain competitive advantage, that has to be manufacturing. R&D is a threshold level. If you don't invest, you will lose out. So there is a competitive strategy, marketing is another. So looking at the same company, the same set of people are seeing the same thing in two different ways. Now, if you look at this way, I call it American. typical American way, then let's say this is a global international firm, and the resources are limited, internal resources are limited, so you have to cut corners. In other words, you need partners. If you can't do things right, cut somebody else do it for you. That is one. Which one of the three activities would you like to offshore? And many of them said, from the cost side, manufacturing is costly, they use it. But the value side is limited. It's costly, it's not adding value to your competitiveness. It's the right option for offshore. That is aligned with partners who can do a good job. And if you look at it this way, and then asking the same executive the same question, they say, no, we have to invest more in manufacturing somehow reduce costs. So the same set of executives, well, the point being, the same set of executives, American executives, can come up with two different strategic solutions in terms of the executive that we get, depending upon just after all, strategy is not to different questions. I went to Japan, did the same thing. And all because Japanese people see things this way. How could I reduce cost in how could I add value? These are the value movements which tend to look at cost. And then they say they have to invest more in manufacturing. So, and then I asked those Japanese workers, but mostly Japanese, by the way, IBM Japan is funded in Japanese companies by any, they even call it yen-based companies. They have no responsibility for so it's not including IBM. And I asked them to look at American, and I developed a question like that. We look at the advantage of value side, and they produce interest. But if we let those Japanese think about their strategy, Sweden, if we look at it, Americans think it, and then based upon those two perceptions, perceptions drive the decision. So Americans say, get rid of manufacturing, we don't need it. We have to invest in brand equity, like invest in a product and of course, we should invest in the Japanese people automatically say, brand equity people know that so that's the perception. So there's also a strategic alliance. To me, the strategic alliance or joint venture, whatever you call it, is what is really the boundary of your company? What should you do in-house? What should you let out a certain thing? So that's how I want to see it. It's not simply two institutions or two companies or two organizations meeting halfway. Looking at the same issue from within the company. This is my company, this is what I do, and this is what I stand for. But what part of me should be followed up? What part of me should be kept in? And that relates to the issue of organizational value. What should we keep to keep running? And what should we let go? And basically, one issue is ability to retain. Can we, well, this is something we should keep to ourselves. And then I developed a battery of questions. So, I asked them ability to retain. In other words, if any activity, do you think worth keeping? And if you can manualize it, if you can spell out everything in manual, you don't need it that well. That's so easy. You don't need it. And if it's teachable, sometimes it's very difficult to state everything in manual. But if you have 2-3 people who want to do a partner, then you can explain the teaching well enough. so that your partner can use it. Then if it's teachable, that's all. And if it's complex, the same way. If it's not so complex, it's well. And this is talk about variability. And we have to retain those. And this is where I think Professor Anwar talked briefly about the notion of cheating. People tend to act in God. Sometimes we can trust other people. So if your partner is likely to cheat on you, and then there are actually the question of to ask many questions. And then the last question to ask yourself is, assuming the company is a growing concern, the German concern, living in organisms, then do we need this activity for long-term survival? And I'll give you one little example. It has nothing to do with Japanese. Bowls or bowls that make pizza. They do two things. One is to make the cone, the inner, what's called cone, pizza and what's inside the pizza. And then this company makes box. So basically it has two divisions, box making division and pizza making cone making division. And they came to me and asked me a simple question, how do I ask this set of questions? I asked them to fill out the question in solution. Interestingly, this is what happened. The cash flow is limited, so if at all possible, their argument is they would like to reduce the fixed cost. In other words, they would like to get rid of one of the divisions. Each of the two should answer and then funnel out the one that they don't need to their partner. And so once we went through this, we came to the conclusion, particularly from this angle, they were actually thinking about dumping pizza box division, because box is either used for plywood and plastic. They just didn't realize it before. Anyone can use box. That's what they understand. And lo and behold, as it turned out, it's like obviously, depending upon how you cut the interior side of the box, they make many grooves and many angles, and it's manually done. Partially master view, and then the rest is manually tested. And that part is extremely crucial to create an excellent sound of actual people. So, as a result, there is a genuine long term. Something you just cannot keep something. It's not something you can solve and prove. The fundamental question, the financial question, can this division operate independently? If you lost the people-making business, can this division remain an independent company? Sell it off to the other competitors or anyone who wants to do profit? And if the answer is yes, so from that angle, I asked them self-sustainable business strategy. And in all the criteria that I laid out, I suggested in the end. I'll get back to the Japanese example later on. Now let's bring it down to everyday task. Americans tend to, the notion of innovation, I think Americans in general talk about product innovation, and they never talk about the making side of innovation, delivery side of innovation, in general called process innovation. Even the term itself didn't exist until 1978, when one professor in Harvard came up with product and process innovation. It's fairly new. Newsworthy. Look at Wall Street Journal. They always talk about product delivery. They rarely talk about great delivery. 7-Eleven. Nobody wants to work for 7-Eleven. But in Japan, go to 7-Eleven. That's one of the most successful companies ever in history. You can come with PE ratio. Even if you look at ROE, return on equity, or PE ratio, that's probably one of the most successful companies in history anywhere around the world. And we don't think about 7-Eleven stores. 7-Eleven Japan, people started writing about 7-Eleven. I wrote an article on 7-Eleven, and I sent some of my MBA students to 7-Eleven Japan, and they are completely awe of what they're doing. And because of the success, he was the licensee of Custom Corporation. And then 7-Eleven Japan took over again company. And now they started having this Japanese 7-Eleven operation. So from newsworthiness, process part doesn't stand out. So we stay away. We want something flashy. I said flash in the sense that it gives you immediate type of time. Immutability I talked about. Product innovation, unfortunately, is always immutable. Once you show the product, you can rewrite it, patent it, there's commercial resistance. So you can always reinvent the same thing. So in that sense, if your product innovative, you can figure it out rather quickly. Packages, lockdown we're talking about the importance of packaging technology. This is something in the company that no one knows outside. Not patented, it's something that you product technology, if you have a product, whether it's the service, it's the physical product, once you see it, you can always present around it. There's not much happening about it. The fourth one, like I said, when it's developed in time, product development, new product development time can be very short. Whereas product delivery time, it takes long, so much passive knowledge that you can't explain. You do it different. You don't have manual with it. This is what you do. You have so much passive knowledge about it. And fixed investment, this is what Americans love. Product innovation, R&D investment, that's massive. But nonetheless, we don't invest in manufacturing distribution channels. This is our position. Whereas, if you are manufacturing, delivery, stay away. Finally, adaptability to market shift. If you're making, tinkering with new products, if market shift will want to come from us, it's not a reason. Whereas if you have invested so much money in distribution, moving things around, that was negative. And look at it from the American point of view, look at pluses and minuses. Americans prefer to keep investing in product categories and to the neglect of this one. Anyway, so the last 2 minutes, I'll give you two confidential, really transparencies I should be sure. But absolutely, there is no force company automated there. I've been funded by Air Force, U.S. Air Force, to do supply chain, what's going on with the supply chain management. I wanted to look at automobiles, that they are way ahead in terms of Japanizing just-in-time delivery system, and Ford is way ahead of it. So why don't we look at the different examples of Ford? So we went to Ford, and Ford we like to talk about today. So you have to get around it, and that's why the research is possible. If you give me the answer, I don't have to go around and read it. Anyway, for a car maker to remain a car maker, they have to build transmission information. So they're really crucial ingredients for a car maker to be a car maker. We know that, everybody knows that. What's the third most important ingredient for a car maker? And to make it long story very short, it's the dye. Dye is the stuff that makes various chemicals. So dyeing is the third most important value-adding activity for a car maker. So let's look at the dye. Does Ford good income, or do they have a partner? What do you think? They're practicing Toyota style just in time better than Toyota. It's really Japanese by any means. They have admitted, but it's really Japanese. They learned it Amarillo. They do vary. What do you think it is? The supply chain, the Ford is an assembler, and in the Ford, you get supply from all these partners and partners, alliance partners. And engine comes from, transmission comes from, and I don't know. Where does it die? And it's pretty simple. For economy models, mass production models, like Ford, Taurus, and Mustang, the guys are all made not accepted mass production guys. Let's look at high-end. To me, coming from going concern point of view, the company is here to stay for a long haul. And if so, state-of-the-art technology that they have today will become everyday technology 5 years, 10 years from now. So if you don't have it, you're gonna have it. If you have it, you have it. So from that angle, I had an assumption. They would like to use state-of-the-art stuff at the high end, even though they didn't have to pay too much money. And lo and behold, that is the case. So I wanted to ask the board, who is making guides for Lincoln models and Jaguar? And then, also we went around and found out the company called Ogihara is making guides for Lincoln models and Jaguar models. And what kept this company called Ogihara bought Jaguar plant in Britain. So Jaguar facility in Britain, which belongs to the corporate name belongs to Ford, but it's owned and run by Ogihara. And still Japanese, Ogihara sounded like a Japanese company. And of course, I went to Ford and asked, is really Ogihara making the guys for money? And of course, there's no comment. So we went around again. Lo and behold, we traveled back to Saitama Prefecture north of Tokyo, only to find out Ogihara is a Japanese company. The Japanese company behind the scenes is making guides for Jaguar and Lincoln models. So this is confidential in the sense that this is actually the chart that they were using. Basically, before that, it took about 48 months for Ford to remodel the whole lineup. And when I said several years ago, they shrunk the development cycle to 36 months, thanks to Ogihara. And today, 32 months will be shorter. So go to Japan is 28 months, it will be shorter. Current market is crucial. And well, not only that, but in any case, it is kind of alternating thought. What happened was, we went to Ford. Ford finally admitted that they are relying on, they are working with Ogihara. And said, Ogihara is great, they do a great job, you don't have to invest in physical products. You don't have to make them, they do it work. And they even use their plants in Howell, Michigan, which is 30 miles out of Michigan. So they have the facility, or they have the anything, and they nice as well. So from the Ford point of view, they reduce this cost very much. If you have reduced this cost, the break-even point is closer. You don't have that massive failure. So Ford is 100% control. They went to Ogihara, and Ogihara behind the scenes was laughing at the whole issue. According to Ogihara, Ford has no ability to design the next generation of Jaguar. And indeed, I went to Ford, Ogihara people are working their way up into the design. But that's well, basically, the Ford became dependent on Ogihara. And Ogihara, one of the Ogihara customers is Ford, and 10 years ago it was Which company? And the Saab is a small company, but they want to go after bigger customers. So they let go of the relationship. And without the part, as you know, couldn't be done. They're turning 15-year-old model year after year. And Ford is a big customer, so so far Obihar is quite happy. And I tell you, Obihar started working with another company called Stanley. We designed Ben's automobile. And currently all trucks are designed by Obihar. And now gradually they want to go into automobile. And if that proves to be financially promising, then deal with Ford, they can say, I'm now to Ford, and what's going to happen to Ford? And they design, especially the next generation use the car for the next 50 years. The answer is more like and that's the scary part of the alliance with the Japanese. As I told you, working with the Japanese is excellent, but there is a dark side. The light seems to lose out in the end. So what to do? Don't have a, or at least do not have a partner with a competing partner. This example is Gordon Ice Cream went with one of the confectionery companies in Japan, which also makes sense. There's a licensing agreement, which usually licensing the whole deal of anything. You can't separate part of your brain not to think about it, in order to make your own brand of ice cream. So naturally, there was a merge of knowledge, and as a result, Meiji Milk, the company to make a good ice cream and maybe ice cream and water. And remember, Meiji is under license to Golden Ice Cream. One brand of Golden Ice Cream, 3 brands of Japanese. In the same retail. Anyway. And as it turns out, customer selection of high-end ice cream is pretty much very good. 3 from Meiji, 1 from Gordon, from 3 to 1. And Gordon hated the relation. And what did they do? They developed a relationship and don't know it. Remember, they never learned about the distribution. They never learned about the marketing. They just learned it. Remember, product never innovate the market. You have the technology, you got the software, in other words, they are so don't have a partner with competing products. That's the last thing you want to do. And the don't transfer, if there is a technology transfer, don't transfer everything to that time. It's a sure way, and that will show you lifestyle. Keep innovating on products faster than Japanese thinking or learning from. They're great learners. They learn basic control as Robert Wright said, joint venture with Japanese to show that we do everything. And unfortunately, you cannot keep innovating on product type faster than Japanese learning. That's the problem. There are exceptions, but trying to create exceptions is difficult. And then the last 2 exclusions, didn't read it and then close my mouth. And high-level engineering staff work side by side with the Japanese, which you don't do it. And marketing staff work closely with local distribution channels, which you don't do it. And then the reason is, I'll give you a simple example. City of Austin, and City of Oita, Japan, entered into a peace-sensitive relation 5 to 6 years ago. I was asked to travel on the U.S. Austin side. And Austin, 1 year, decided to send a mission to Witter. We sent 7 people. They simultaneously separated. I can't separate somebody else, and then 1 position and some other people. 2 translators, and then 5 real people. So they went to Japan for a week and came back. And then within 2 days of their return, there was a small blog and a small news article about the biggest voice of Japan. And that was it. And of course I didn't know anything about voice. And the following year, Voice City sent us a fax saying that they're sending their mission. And I was asked by Bruce Hall, that he was city mayor, and he asked me, how many, he knew that Japanese can send more people. But he called me and said, I asked him, how many people do you want to send? And then I asked him, how many people do you can send? Seven, 3 So my guess was double, maybe 10 people, maybe 15, quite early. And then Japanese didn't send anything until literally 2 weeks before their arrival. So we got some final facts, final tallies, lo and behold, they sent 17 people representing all walks of life, government officials, revenue folks, mom and pop, shop owners, store owners, to retired people, to people who are just crazy about golf, nothing but golf. High-tech people. The point being, look at the issue from the learning point of view. How much did Austin learn from a business? Nothing. It was just a bit of learning. And how much did the Japanese learn about Austin? Golf players play golf in all golf courses and work at big states in Austin a month. Playing golf every day of the week. And also, if you're allowed to rapidly point it. But in any case, so that's how they do it. And union, labor union policies, made and collectively, I can tell you, I can assure you, the Japanese learn a lot more about what our city has to offer than we have learned from the Japanese. And then I received the newspaper about a month ago. Long told Sunday newspaper, all segments is on Austria. You can learn a lot more about Austria by living in Austria. By reading the Japanese newspaper, take a thing to read more than anything. I learned a lot about Austria and found nice restaurants. Nice trees, by the way. That's tremendous. Apply to the corporate situation. Japanese can send more people to learn everything that we have there. Where we just send this limited facility because we would like to minimize the cost of getting the job done. Japanese would like to get the job done to get the cost. So if you think about long-term implications of what we do, they learn a lot. And I also taught at New York University. I did one job for closing. If you and I begin working the best way to find information about your competitors is the best way to find that information is to go to the Thank you.
Spend 5 minutes for your questions since we are running out of time, and this time I open the floor to you. Any questions for Dr. Kotabe or Michael?
One question. Going back to this slide, the value of competitive, cost of competitive advantages slide. In your study, how did you quantify those variables, or did you quantify those variables?
I defined what competencies are and not.
Okay.
This is always things that belong to each one of them. And then it's I totally believe in professional bias actually. You don't have to dollarize it, you don't have to quantify it. All I need is to do is ask those here that we are most important. Ask them where are you adding value, and then allocate some amount. And I did it several times with different groups of American experts and German experts. And I thought I think back in Finland 4 days ago, when I did the same thing with Nokia. They tend to think more like Japanese than
Did they give you more input beyond the scale? Did they say, here's why we think the system is? By the scale.
But I can't really speak in this community with a lot of I didn't have to,
Right.
easy love them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wanted to prove that this is a human being. Evaluate corporate value. So actually, not many companies, things like American companies, other than American, that corporate. Those in Germany, they think like that and crash into Japanese. Very uncivilized, you know, Scandinavians, that is the same thing that they do not get in there. And things like Japanese, that is the same thing that they are things like I did the same thing even like the English person too. I did the same thing in the and then called the company several of them. And they did more like that too. So I'm more Baltimore convinced that American way of looking at it because we have about it good call. Even the outcome, how does that mean like call? I'm not saying that's bad. It's that's the best way to do it. But from customer point of view,
Right. There seems to be a paradox here too. The strategy that you identify as American seems to be commodity oriented, whereas the strategy you identify as European and Japanese seems to be quality oriented. Yet the manufacturing process tends to be identified more closely with Japanese and German, whereas the R&D process tends to be more associated with software development in the United States. Do you find that paradox? Do you think about that?
well, that's, I agree with you. That's what I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's new to us. That's what to do. And that's what, in general, I think and then, I mean, how many companies like this, it's a monopoly space. If you come up with new products, that's our solution called a monopoly. Different people call it competitive monopoly. Temporary. Now, unfortunately, the temporary about monopoly theory is so short that many of the American strategies in the fundamental that we spend rely on somebody else to go on and that's where our problem is. So, blaming Japanese or anyone else for these reasons that are violent it's a long way to look at the company and totally both of them are important. And companies that do both according to one of my studies. Not common sense say if you do both things, better than competition.
We are running out of time. On behalf of Western University, I want to thank you for your contribution to our seminar. And let's give a hand to Mike. I don't want to get ready. I'm the organizer. Let's take a 10-minute break, and then our speaker, Michael Bond, is here, and Virgil. And after that, we'll come back on.